Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion, place of Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. I've done my stretches, done my daily 6.34 minutes of meditation, and I'm centered and ready to go. Oh, that rate of fire sends a chill down my spine. NK33 181H. Now, alright. I saw the item room and I saw me. I let myself get hopeful. Thanks for pointing out the tinted rock. I really appreciate it. Now I'm not so upset. That's a really, really important upgrade for me. To get... I mean, obviously the damage is good. But we also, like, raised our rate of fire by almost 25%. And that's even more mission critical, in my opinion. And then on top of that, our speed did go down by 0.2. Forgive the rigorous numbers here, but it is tax season. We can afford that speed decrease, is what I'm trying to say. Hold on, are we on... It's not an XL floor. Yes, there's a tinted rock. That's fine. Alright, so I got... I mean, 3 HP, I got no complaints. Here's my dream scenario. You know, you lay out like a 5-year plan. What's your 5-year plan? Here's my, like, 2-floor plan. Stay strong. Maybe get a bomb. Use that bomb to get a spirit heart off that tinted rock. Maintain that spirit heart so that we can get a deal with the devil. And then a little stroke of luck comes our way. We end up being able to activate Whore of Babylon by taking whatever good items are on the deal with the devil. If we can make that happen, we're well on our way to a comfortable win. If we can't make it happen, hey, you know, there's a little bit of latent value that hopefully we can... Potential, that's the word. That we can pull from at some point, you know? You always, you have to factor in the luck aspect. There's not much else you can do about it, you know? Hey, how'd you end up being president of the company? Oh, I was a vice president, and then the president retired when he was 41 instead of 60. As a result, it was plausible for me to move up in the company. You know, you gotta factor luck into it. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe our deal with the devil is, maybe we don't get it. Maybe it's garbage. And then Whore of Babylon's just sitting there. Ah, he chose to make his son CEO instead, the fool. You get the idea, you know? There's no substitute for hard work, but, and preparation, but luck is an aspect here as well. Sometimes people say, you know, I don't know, people have what I would describe as, self-serving views of luck sometimes. They'll be like, you make your own luck. Look, I know that I've said that Tiger Woods said you make your own luck, and that's a man who knows a thing or two about getting lucky, but sometimes luck is just luck, and there's not much you can do about it. You know, like, winning the lottery, that's luck. Well, you had to buy a ticket, yeah, but like millions of people maybe bought a ticket and you didn't buy a ticket. Or millions of people bought tickets and didn't win is what I mean to say. How do you describe that? You know, like, I think luck is a factor, dude. Even when it comes to YouTube and Twitch, luck is a factor that, I mean, I'm glad that people talk about it. I saw, like, I don't know Bo Burnham or like anything about him except I watched you know, 8th grade, and I was like, that movie's good. That's pretty much where I'm at with Bo Burnham. I haven't, you know, I'm not familiar with him outside of that, except one time I was driving with my friend, and his little brother was in the car, and he was playing a song that was like, I'm Bo, and I'm the greatest rapper ever, and something, I forgot the words, whether you like it or not, something or something. I believe he said, cover your ears, please, kids. I'm a real G baby who can really hit your G spot. I remember that, kind of saw him as like the Flight of the Conchords for a, well, why are you on top of the poop then? Hold on. Okay, no, I thought maybe there'd be something under that. You know what, I'll take it, I'm not afraid. I thought of him as Flight of the Conchords for the younger generation. I'm glad he's making his way in the world today, you know? 8th grade was a great movie. And I haven't seen any of his other stuff, so I'm not, you know, crap talking it, as Google D-Mine would have you believe. But you saw he gave an interview on one of the late night talk shows. You know, one of them, I don't know, they're all pretty much, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, except for maybe Conan, in my opinion. But, and he was like, dude, you know, people ask me, like, what's the secret to being successful? There's a huge dose of luck at the end of the day. People don't want to hear it all the time. You know, everybody, you get these ads on Facebook. Let me show you how to, you know, run your own successful business from home. Anybody telling you they got all the answers does not have all the answers. I'm always weirded out by that stuff. Just to go back to the luck point, like, yeah, I've worked hard, but simultaneously, like, one of the reasons I was able to, you know, get to whatever level I'm at right now, which is not enormous, but is, you know, sustainable full-time, and I've been doing this for, like, we're getting close to a decade, which is insane to me. But either way, you know, is just timing, you know? YouTube, I was of the right age to have free time. Dude, honestly, I'm going to take Necronomicon. I know. I'm not happy about it either, but I was of the right age to have a decent amount of free time. And then, you know, it started to pop off and become like a real, potentially viable job option right around the time that my job in Korea had, you know, my contract was running out. Who knows? Maybe if those are offset by like 9 months, I end up signing a second year in Korea. You know, and then one day I just get too tired and I'm like, you know, I don't want to make YouTube videos today because, you know, I'm tired from my teaching job, and all of a sudden, you know, the glorious 10,000 or 12,000 videos you see in front of you, you know, gets cut by 95% or something like that. Timing's a big aspect, man. But anyway, what I was gonna say is, I'm gonna teach you a little trick to cut through the BS, okay? In my opinion. Now, there's a lot of people out there who are... There's like it's a billion-dollar industry of millionaires teaching people how to be millionaires, right? You see the ads on Facebook all the time. I don't know, there's one guy in Vancouver that... I don't know, he's like a legitimate businessman, but his business is no longer about, you know, business. His new business is teaching people how to be business people. And I just have to say... They always say, like, you know, do what you're passionate about, at least in my experience. You know, do what you're passionate about, you know, you'll never work a day in your life. But is that really, like, your passion? Is to teach other people how to be passionate? I'm not trying to be super negative about it. I'm just like, you know, I think there's a reason, like, you know, Bill Gates isn't writing ebooks about how to become a millionaire. I think it's because he's like, I made my money and now I'm gonna like live my life, and you know, my passion is not to teach people how to be rich. My passion is to, like, you know, I mean, at this point, help planet Earth, but also, you know, prior to that, to see my foes in business driven before me. There's been a lot of... Bill Gates, he's really rehabilitated his image. You know, when I was a kid, he was like the most ruthless businessman you could ever imagine. They made movies. There's a movie called Antitrust. Stars Ryan Philippe, Rachel Lee Cook, and Tim Robbins. Tim Robbins plays Bill Gates, such a competitive tech mogul. He murders people, no big deal. Anyway, I was like, man, I can't trust you. It's the same as, like, when I talk about, you know, what I want out of, like, the ideal politician is somebody who's forced into the job because they're amazing at it, but otherwise has options that they would rather be doing. That's also what I feel like if you want, like, a mentor. I almost feel like you want that mentor, like Han Solo, that's like, I don't want to be your mentor. And you're like, you have to be my mentor. I don't want the guy who's like, here's what you gotta do is, you know. That's my 2 cents on the subject. That being said, never email me. Now, where are we going with this? This run, you know, there's a lot of consumables that can make a difference in your life, but there's no substitute, in my opinion. That's a pretty good get. For getting the golden bomb when you're a little bit low on, you know, DPS killing power. Now, admittedly... 9 rate of fire, 5 damage. It's not horrible, but, I mean, we do have my reflection. That's a creation of my own doing, so, you know, it's hard for me to be upset about that. Simultaneously, though, we gotta, you know, we're happy to have unlimited bombs on this floor. Let's put it that way. We didn't even get hit by the fire there, which is very surprising to me. This would be a really good floor to beat the odds and get another deal. Speed upgrade, very worthwhile as well. So, you know what? So far, so good. I'm actually just going to ice us right away. Even though we have the extra HP upgrade, I would much rather come back as Dark Judas and get the Whore of Babylon set up immediately. Oh my god. 7 rate of fire, 14 damage. So I thought I heard a cat at the door trying to get in. That door hasn't existed for 30 years. Anyway, I don't know what you know, I know ads are based on your search history. Supposedly. But I don't know what I've done to... Well, I know what I've done is I've muted everybody on Facebook except for, like, 2 people. And one of them is my grandma. But, now the only things I get served ads for are, like, physiotherapy. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I hurt my shoulder. And then the other thing is... let's just get out of here. The other thing is like, do you wanna quit your dead-end job and make money sitting in your chair? And it's always like some bozo in front of a whiteboard they got for 10 bucks at Walmart. I'm not trying to insult them necessarily, but you're a snake oil salesman. Sign up for the Mastermind program and we'll teach you. Like the ad I saw on Facebook the other day was like, this dude holds up 10 G's, you know, $10,000, and goes, I can show you how to make this much money every day online. And I'm like, man, you seem like a sad... First off, I think you're lying. Secondarily, you seem like a sad dude. Because if you were making $3 million a year, close to $4 million a year, what are you doing making Facebook videos, dog? Go, I don't even know, like, pursue a real passion, you know? Go, you know, hang out on the Cayman Islands or something like that. Move to Monaco, I don't know. Become a painter or, you know, just do something. Instead of, like, I guess that's, there's gotta be like an axiom that you can use for this, right? Like, if you were actually as successful as you claim to be, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now. Instead, you would be like, that's the real successful people. You're like, you don't hear about them because they're, you know, flying their private helicopter to the Louvre to get a, you know, one-on-one showing of the Mona Lisa or something like that. You know, like Killmonger in Black Panther. I can only interface with the real world through fiction. Because I'm too busy making money online sitting in my chair. Anyway. I'm always skeptical of those people, because I'm an adult who thinks critically about most things. But I don't know, maybe some of them are legit for all I know. Tony Robbins got you walking across the hot coals, teaching you anything is possible, being on his 4th marriage, you know. Well, I'm sure glad I didn't buy piggy bank later. That was a mean shot at Tony Robbins. I got nothing against him, okay? I saw the opportunity for a cheap joke and I took it. I don't know, maybe it's one of those things, you know, maybe you make a joke at somebody's expense and then you apologize and then somebody's like, you don't have to apologize. Check out this tweet he made 4.5 years ago. He's actually a piece of garbage. I don't know if Tony Robbins is a piece of garbage. I don't know. He's in shallow hell, dude. How bad could he be? Anyway. How am I doing? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. You know, it's a Wednesday. I'm willing to take a stab. I'm happy with it. I don't think we're going to take it just yet, but I'm happy with it. It's a Wednesday. What does a Wednesday look like in Northernlion's world? Well, if you're watching a lot of videos, you're probably aware. First, I watch 18 hours of how to make money online videos. Then it's lunchtime. Just kidding. There are no such things as off days. Where am I going with this? No, my Wednesday is pretty typical. You know, wake up, go to the gym, grab the brush and put a little makeup, hide the scars that fade away the shakeup. Try not to leave my keys upon the table wherever possible, even though that's my desire. Record a little bit. You know, I got so many series on the go right now. Really, like every single day. I only get a couple of days to build space. And it's Friday, Sunday. And what I mean by build space is like a couple of days to, you know, just sit back and record like 8 episodes of one thing to get the backlog pumping a little bit. Every other day is pretty much, you know, one Spire, one Gungeon, one Isaac, one Sekiro, and, you know, Try it. If time's willing, pump out a Baba as you, and then you got streams. You know, that's kind of the gist of it right now. I'm not complaining. It's nice, by the way, to have so much variety on a daily basis. So this is my Isaac episode for today. I don't know if it goes right. I might be able to sneak in a second one, to be honest with you. How come your mom lets you have 2 Isaac episodes? Tell you straight up. The nail is an easy win, but I don't like our familiars. So, we got the ability to fly. We got goat head. I think we'll still take the nail. Because, I mean, especially after I sacked HP to get it, Oh, you're still alive. I feel like we'd really like to have the HP. Dude, this is a pretty nice little run of form we got going on here. You know, 16 wins. Have we had any runs that were, like, truly, you know, super difficult? We had to navigate really choppy waters to get through? No, but, you know, those will come. I mean, just by virtue of inevitability, you know? And what'll really mess with you is maybe I haven't had any of those runs because I've just been playing better. And I'm not saying I've had like a Cobalt Streak-esque renaissance here, but like more so that, you know, maybe by virtue of not putting myself in a bad situation, the runs that otherwise could have been a disaster were completely unnoticed. You know what I mean? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, so to speak. I'm just trying to hang back here. We lack the X factor. You know, one really, really amazing... I mean, triple shot is kind of an X factor, even though it's not that good. But one really amazing tier effect could take us to Funky Town here. I think so, at least. But yeah, it's been a good week. Dude, there's a lot of games to play. I'm like... I feel like at least once a week I bring up the fact that I think 2019 has been an amazing year for games. Not everybody's in the same boat. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine this weekend who might be watching this episode, and he was like, we're in the doldrums right now. And I was like, yeah, I guess. I could see it. But, I don't know, there's a lot of like little like AA stuff kind of coming out that's been interesting. Like pathways that Indiana Jones meets XCOM-like from Chucklefish. I gotta admit, I was into the idea conceptually. I watched Kate play a little bit of it, and I went, I'm not sure this is really my sort of thing, even though, like, on paper, obviously, the pitch makes itself. But I might check it out anyway. I played, like, 3 hours of Anno 1800 on Tuesday's stream. That was a really good time. That's a game that, it really scratches that, like, Banished-esque itch. And as much as I've been a proponent of the idea that, you know, 2019 is the year of the city builder, so put another, 2019 and 2020, I guess, put another, you know, little tally in the win column for that one, because Anno 1800, or Anno, whatever the heck you want to call it, it slaps. It's a genuine slapper. I'm much more of the kind of guy, you know, don't get me wrong, I played probably like 15 hours of Factory Town, and I loved it, but I run up against the cap of my own intelligence really quickly. So, you know, I've seen other people, and Satisfactory was like the same thing. We got up to the point where we were like making some stuff in Satisfactory and then kind of washed out. I've seen, because, you know, part of the fun of being in those communities for me is seeing what really, really engineering and, you know, optimization and efficiency-minded people can create. And I've seen the Satisfactory subreddit. People have made, like, skyscraper factories. You know, factories that are, you know, 10, 20 stories just of machines that assemble machines, you know, of increasing complexity as you go up. And then at the end of it, they, like, spit out a, you know, like an airship or something like that. It's pretty amazing. I was thinking about that, actually, and I don't want to get too philosophical, because I'm not really that sort of guy. It's not even really philosophy, it's almost like, I guess it's just engineering, but, you know, in Anno 1800, I got to the point where I was building ships. So I started to think about, like, the supply chain. What does it take to build a ship? Okay, well, to build a ship, I'll just take it. It's good. What does it require? It requires wood. It requires labor. It requires bricks. And it requires iron, okay? Now, you're just going to have to bear with me here. So, you know, there's only a few ingredients. It doesn't seem like that much, right? But what does wood require? Well, wood requires labor. It requires water. It requires space. It requires time. It requires the seed of the tree to begin with, but you get the idea. You know, what does iron cost? Same thing. Labor. Well, these are pretty bad examples. But I would say, what does labor cost? That is crazy. Labor costs you a staggering amount of time. It costs you food. What does each unit of food cost you? Sunlight, water, time, land. Like, to build a ship, I started to have this, it was almost like a shower thought. That, like, really, by the end of that Anno 18 episode, or stream, my town was not really like a town where people live. It's a very capitalist way to look at it, but it was not a town where people live. It was an extremely complex factory that built ships. Every element of it was part of the production chain, you know? Sure, there's a pub. What's the pub there for? The pub is there to raise happiness, because happiness raises productivity. What does the pub require? The pub requires, you know, labor, which requires food, which requires sunlight, water, etc., etc. And every single element of the chain is just working together to organize to eventually get to the point where it could pump out like one gunboat every 3 weeks. It's wild, dude, to think about. Now, I'm getting you know, I don't really see life in that way, but I briefly got a glimpse of the fact that some people probably do by playing Anno 1800. You know, I stopped seeing pigs as animals, and what I started to see them as is like biological machines that, you know, they're born, and then they pretty much are like a reactor that turns corn into pork, and pork fat, which is a precursor to soap, which is the game turned me into, I mean, I had like a crisis of identity, I suppose, is what it sounds like from this. You know, it turned me into like a 19th century mine owner, where I was like, I don't understand. Why are the workers mad? They could just buy food from the mine store. Anyway, that's not how I believe in real life, I only seem like a capitalist, well, that's not to say I'm not a capitalist, but I only seem like a union-busting factory owner from the Victorian or industrial age, in contrast to Justin. I want that to be made very clear. I'm not adverse to trying another one of these, but, you know, I think we're probably going to stop it right there. I think that's probably, well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and grab one more then. Yikes. Not great items. Anyway, so, you know, I would recommend it. That's my 2 cents on the subject. And then I started to think about it in relation to human beings too, and I was like, do we just turn, you know, water and you know, plant matter and meat into production? And I was like, nah, not anymore. We're a service-based economy. So we really just turned it into lipids. I'm okay with that. Anyway, so if you're not worried about having like a crisis of where you exist, what your identity is in this type of society, I would really recommend Anno 1800. It's a fun game. I know people are going to be like, NL, what were you on last night? Dude, I'm not on anything. Well, that's not totally true. I'm on caffeine in the mornings, but I'm living my life, you know, pretty raw in this day and age. I just have a lot of downtime to think about things sometimes. You never know what's going to give you that crisis, you know? It's not really a crisis. It's more just an interesting thing to think about, I suppose. And it's cool that, you know, even though a video game is not really designed to inspire that, it kind of inspires that. And I only had the space to think about that because it isn't one of those games where it's so concerned with optimization that, you know, you literally never have a second to think about the themes that are happening. By the way, I wouldn't say that any of this is actually, like, explicit in that game. It's just like, well, I was waiting for 25 bricks to be pulled out of the freaking clay pit. I was like, man, this is wild. Like, this whole town is exclusively organized to build a ship to sell to this guy so I can get richer. That rules. All these people living their lives, having kids, falling in love. You know, engaging in crimes, telling stories. It's all just it's a byproduct of the ship. All of that exists because the ship industry allows it to exist right here. So I hope you're having a good time, but at the end of the day, all I want to make sure is that those schooners end up being sent to Admiral Tarley. Every other game I play like this, I'm like, why? I need the logs to enter the sawmill 2.4% faster, dude. So this is a unique situation to a very, very mundane extent. We actually want to nail first because we get another charge as soon as we enter. This run, by the way, got fast. And one of the reasons it got fast is because our damage and DPS are really good. But another reason it got fast is we just had like 2 or 3 floors in a row where the boss fight was really close. And I'm not complaining. You know, here's my... You know, I don't think I get accused necessarily of like wanting to rush Isaac runs, but my general gist on an Isaac run from somebody that has 3,500 hours in this game or something ridiculous, once a run, when a run is in question, take as long as you want, you know? I'll pick it all up, come on, give me good stuff here. Nothing horrible at least. Not a book, unfortunately. Well, actually all pretty bad, but, when we don't know if a run is going to be a win or a loss, I want to take my time, without a doubt. When a run is a guaranteed win, which this one is really closing in on, barring complete disaster, I'm of the opinion, hey, let's get it over with. Let's hit the slot machine again and see what kind of seed we get spit out next time. I want to work on the next puzzle. I'm a task-driven individual, believe it or not. It's not really like I'm knocking something off the to-do list. It's just like, in my mind, I've already beaten this run. Which is probably an attitude that's gotten us into a lot of losses when we should have probably just had guaranteed wins, but... I don't want it. 2.63 luck. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna write a very strongly worded tweet if I don't get at least 2 items on this floor. They don't have to be good. I'll take Bookworm, dude. That's not that bad. But yeah, I'm just saying it's been a good time. And dude, sight unseen, there's very few games I would be like, you know, get hyped for this. Oh, no strongly worded letter necessary. But I'm so ready, even though I haven't spent that much time in the other SteamWorld games, for SteamWorld Quest. Well, Resident Sleeper, another deck builder. Okay, you know what? You take your negativity back to an internet forum, okay? You can be negative about things that are obviously negative, but just to be like, I don't like this, okay, more power to you. But, I mean, make sure you hit the top right on your way out the door is all I'm trying to say. If there's any deck builder you should be stoked about, it's one coming from the SteamWorld dudes. Or like a Slay the Spire 2, but like we're not at that point yet, to be honest. That and MLB The Show, but I don't even want to talk about it because it's just like embarrassing for me. I don't play that much MLB The Show, but I've gotten into the dangerous... I mean, when I say I don't play that much, I probably play like 4 hours a week. So, you know, what is 4 hours a week? It's like 20 minutes a day. No, that doesn't work out. It's like 40 minutes a day? Yeah, something along those lines. But I've gotten to the point where I read the subreddit. And whenever I start reading the subreddit for a game, we're in trouble, you know? In terms of the amount that I'm invested. Like, I read the subreddit, or I read the subreddit, I should say, for Slay the Spire. There were times when I read it for PUBG. There were times I even read it for Fortnite, believe it or not. Even though that was just by ours. Oh, you should have used it, but that's okay. By our standards, we didn't end up playing it that much, but still. Factorio, RimWorld, Slay the Spire, Isaac, FTL, Into the Breach. They've all gotten there. Sometimes I read the Detroit Become Human subreddit, but that's exclusively because I love... Well, this is like way back when it actually came out, so like a year and a half. Well, I guess like a year ago. That's mostly because I just love that whenever somebody criticizes it because the writing is a little bit hokey, there will be people who are like, I don't understand. It's the most mature game ever made. And I'm like, is it though? There's a little Schadenfreude there, I'll admit, which I'm probably mispronouncing. Anyway, good run. I had a good time. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya.